And welcome to another episode of the Mark Bishop Show. You know, the First Amendment guarantees what? A right to listen, doesn't it? A right that exists even when the speaker may not have his or her own right to speak under the Constitution. PETA has filed a first-of-its-kind First Amendment lawsuit against the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, and the National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH. Now, this lawsuit seeks to enforce PETA's right to receive communications from what are called in-law willing speakers. The macaque monkeys named Beamish, Sam Smith, and Knick-Knack, and we can't forget Guinness. Now, they've spent years in cages being experimented on at the NIMH laboratory. What is this? Dear, oh dear. Jeff Kerr, he is my special guest, and he's the Chief Legal Officer of the PETA Foundation. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks very much for having me, Mark. Pleasure to be with you.
Exactly what is PETA seeking from this lawsuit, and how did this groundbreaking lawsuit come about?
Yeah, what PETA is asking for is a live audio-visual feed in the NIH laboratory of experimenter Elizabeth Murray, so that we can receive the real-time communications from the macaques that she is torturing in these horrific experiments in her laboratory. It's an undeniable scientific fact that these monkeys are communicating. They communicate like other primates through vocalizations, facial gestures, body posture, you name it. And the scientists, the primatologists that we have connected with our lawsuit and our in-house scientists are able to interpret those communications. And we've seen those communications in the very limited video snippets we've been able to obtain through public records requests. Mm-hmm. But we have the First Amendment right to listen, to receive the communications, not just at the time that the government wants us to see them. And so that's what we've asked for. And we asked NIH for that before filing the lawsuit, and they refused. So we were forced to sue in federal court.
Well, I know a little bit about these poor little devils. I think they're originally from the South Island of Japan. But tell us more about the, how do you pronounce it? Because there are different pronunciations.
Macaque.
Macaque monkeys, all right.
Macaque.
They're mentioned in
That's
this
right.
lawsuit. Yeah, macaque. Anthropologists, other scientists. Go on.
Yeah, that's right. And to give you an idea of the experiment attitude toward them, as you listed their names, they're named after brands of beer. And it's what Murray does is really horrific. She uses crude and invasive methods to damage the monkey's brains. Oh. She immobilizes each of the monkey's heads in a vice-like device, carves out a section of the skull, and injects toxins into the brain to cause permanent and traumatic brain damage. And in some instances, will actually section out or burn out portions of the brain. She then puts them in cramped, dark boxes and lifts a guillotine-like door to reveal rubber snakes and spiders that will frighten the monkeys, and they will jump and react. And she videos this and makes notes about it to track their emotional responses. And of course, Murray's been involved in experiments, not just these, but others, for 40 years, and to the tune of more than $50 million of taxpayer money, and nothing has ever resulted in a single benefit to humans.
Yeah,
it's just horrific. And these macaques have been kept in solitary confinement in her lab 16 years, 15 years, and they're expressing their trauma and what they're going through while they're in those cages, when they're having their skulls cut into, after they've been subjected to experiments. And we want to receive those communications so we can tell the American people what's being done in their name and with their money.
Yeah. Well, it's a pity Doge doesn't get into this one, huh? You know, they do communicate effectively and intentionally, these monkeys, through gestures, body language, and of course vocalizations. But, you know, having done interviews with Peter over many years now, I can tell you I've also seen a lot of photographs, and some are horrid of what goes on with the brain business and what they put on these poor monkeys and what they do. But, you know, this one is unique. I mean, it is the first of its kind First Amendment lawsuit, isn't it?
That's right. It's the first time that somebody has sought to enforce their First Amendment right to receive communications from non-humans. And of course, that's what our job is. Our job is to inform the public, inform the courts, inform our legislatures about what these monkeys' capabilities are and what other animals are capable of and what they are actually doing. And like I said, it's an undeniable scientific fact that they are communicating. And so the law is supposed to protect our right, our First Amendment right to receive those communications. And that's what the lawsuit's about.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, how do First Amendment rights apply to a case that involves monkeys and not humans?
Well, and I think the distinction there that's important to keep in mind is the case is about PETA's First Amendment right to receive the communications. We're not actually suggesting that the monkeys have a First Amendment right. And under the case law of our Constitution, it doesn't matter whether the speaker, in this case the monkeys, has any protected right of speech. What's important is our PETA's First Amendment right to receive the communication. And the case law is very, very clear on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear the opposition, though. You know, hey, animals can't talk, monkeys can't talk. What are they talking about? Receive communication. You know, what are you going to do in court? Are you going to have lots of pictures and videos to prove your point?
Sure. We've submitted with our lawsuit, and your viewers, your listeners can see our lawsuit at PETA.org. That's PETA.org. They can see the lawsuit. We have some photographs from the experiments and some of the video we've been able to get of these monkeys through public records requests. Mm-hmm. But yes, and we also have attached to our lawsuit the declarations of two experts in the field who are testifying that undeniably these macaques are communicating. And even from the little bit of video that we've been able to see so far, you know, macaque communication has been studied for decades, and there's no question that they are communicating in that way. And even based on the few scenes that we've obtained, it's unquestionable, according to our experts, that the monkeys are exhibiting a range of characteristic stress and fear responses, nervousness, agitation, and most importantly, a desire to escape.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them at all after you sharing of what goes on in that laboratory. So when does all of it happen? Is it going to be this year or going into next year, the court?
Yeah, the lawsuit was filed the first week of March in federal court in Maryland, where the NIH and NIMH are located, and we're expecting the government's first response within the next couple of months. We do expect, as you sort of alluded to, we do expect them to try to have the lawsuit dismissed, but we're getting ready for that, and we welcome the fight. This is what we're here for.
We wish you all the best, and I think a lot of listeners will be praying for you too. Jeff Kerr is my guest, and he is the longest tenured legal head of any animal protection organization. And he built and still leads the world's largest legal team working for animal liberation, which was named Corporate Counsel Magazine's best legal department in 2017. It's the first animal protection group and the only second non-profit to receive that honor. Well done. You deserve everything you get. You're a graduate, aren't you? University of Virginia School of Law, I think.
Yes, that's right. It was a pleasure to go there, and great time in my life.
Well, you received more accolades, and it's nice to share these. You got the prestigious Shaping Justice Award for Extraordinary Achievement. And George Mason University, you're a Weber Scholar there. Well done, and look at the wonderful work you've done for PETA all these years. So good luck in that battle, my friend, and we'd love to hear the outcome. Come back to us, okay?
Thank you very much, Mark. Be happy to come back. Appreciate you having me, and we'll keep you posted on how the case progresses.
Good, thank you. Jeff Kerr, ladies and gentlemen, PETA Foundation Chief Legal Officer.